motherfuckers.
Drive your best hit with us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this Friday night, welcome to Keyboard Warriors. Wow, we are the Keyboard Warriors. My name's Eddie Law. That's Fred Kirby. Shooting the shit with y'all on a UFC-less weekend. I forgot it's Friday, but we did have Bellator today. We'll talk about it. It was earlier up in Dublin. I'd love to say it was a great show, but it was kind of like, we'll talk about it.
Listen, let's give the fucking sorry to cut you off. Sorry to cut off.
Yeah.
Let's give the fucking moniker its credit due right now and get into the Keyboard Warriors bag. The next UFC fight we do have is next Saturday, and is that the Mackenzie fucking Dern card? You can give that one fucking back to the Indian Sun. Is that the fucking worst card we've seen in a month of Sundays, or is it just me? Who's the fucking co-headline on that card? All due respect to Mackenzie fucking Dern. Who's the co-headline on that fucking card?
Let's look at it. Co-main event, Randy Brown, Francisco. Jesus Christ.
You're right. Francisco Trinaldo. Son, hey, listen. Who's the fucking Cuban boxer that nobody knows how old he is? The cat that fought Deontay Wilder.
Ortiz?
Yes, Ortiz. Hey, Francisco Trinaldo's R. Ortiz. He's got to be every bit of 48 years old. So what is he? 44? I don't know about that. I don't know about 44. That motherfucker's 52 years old, son. He's been in the UFC for 20 years.
Dude, fucking, I got to talk to him in Phoenix, right? Because he won his fight there. At I think it's 74, whenever it was last time in Phoenix. But I got to talk to him and ask him about that. I'm like, how much longer do you want to keep doing this? And he was just like, you know, basically his point was basically like till they tell me I had to stop. Like, god damn, dude. Like,
listen, he's still the fucking toughest uncle at the barbecue. Make no mistake about it. He's still winning fights and shit.
Oh yeah.
But all bullshit aside, the fact that he's in the fucking co-headlining spot on this card, this is a fucking weak card to say the fucking least, son. So essentially, I don't want to fucking shit on this card too much because, to be fair, excuse me.
Yeah.
These usually end up being the cards that are pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like we got 2 weeks off, to be fucking fair. Like this card is fucking, you know, this is fucking pretty fucked on paper.
Looking at the rest of it, Raoni Barcelos against Trevin Jones, Sodiq Yusuff. That's a solid fight. Sodiq Yusuff's always fun to watch against Don Shainis. John Castaneda against Daniel Santos. Mike Davis against Borshev. And then they don't even have the whole card on here, dude. But one of the, I guess, the headlining prelim. Jessica Penne against Tabitha Ritchie. Which I think her name is Baby Shark. She's easy on the eyes, to tell you that much. But Mackenzie Dern, it's almost like they're like, shit, we don't have anything this week. We need to have something the week after. But like, we have a couple of breaks here coming up. Like October 1st is one, and then we don't have anything until October 15th.
Is there not a card after that one?
No. Let me check the UFC
website. Jesus Christ! So we're weeks away from the next real card.
The next real card, UFC 280. And I think there's a reason for that. They're going to try and make people, like, you know,
starve us out
a little bit, make sure everyone buys pay-per-view. Yeah, so let me pull up let me fucking pull up the website, because the UFC website is the one that has the dates. Real quick, shout out to everyone tuning in. Nick Devon God, what's up? Santiago Rodriguez says, how you doing, bro? Otis says Trinaldo is aged. And our boy Jesse's in the comment section. What's up? What's good, dude? I cannot talk today, bro, at all. All right, here we go. So this weekend, Durham versus Jan. Then I think it's a week off, and then we get Grasso versus Araujo.
Oh my stars!
UFC 280.
God damn, son! It's gonna be October 22nd before we get a real fucking card in.
Well, then we got Cater versus Allen, and then another week off, and then we get UFC 281 in New York.
Oh fuck me!
And then they're gonna come up with something between November 12th and December 3rd for sure. But the next planned one after that's December 3rd in Orlando.
Jesus fucking Christ almighty. Yeah. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, but good Lord almighty, some of these cards are fucking... I mean, look, we're at the end of the year here. It is what it is, I guess. It's running a little thin, but god damn.
It's a little rough. It's rough going. So
yeah, October, I mean, 280 is going to be phenomenal. So there's that,
dude.
I guess. But like, damn, the beginning of October is going to be a little rough, Jack.
Yeah, no, dude, 280 looks fucking dope. Honestly, like I'm waiting for that one. That's one of those cards that like I want to go cover, but I'm not trying to fight to go fight Island.
Real question: since we got a pretty fucking slow show tonight, there's not a whole lot going on. We're looking at this card. Okay, so We got Charles and Islam, right? Okay, let me ask you a fucking question. So going down this card, the two cards before this are both agreeably weak, right? Like I don't think no. So simply put, would you rather have this card be super fucking stacked, or would you rather take, say, Aljamain and TJ and put it as the headliner of one of those cards, or fucking Pichor and Sean O'Malley? Because I honestly think maybe I would rather take one of those sexy fights, especially if we got three. Like, give me Pichor Yan and Sean O'Malley on the fucking Grasso card. You know what I'm saying? Or fuck, even on this Mackenzie Dern card, like Mackenzie Dern and the co-headline to O'Malley and Pichor Yan. Hey, great. I'm fucking there. Yeah, I feel like, and I appreciate that we're getting a really stacked card, but they're kind of, bro, I'm gonna be tuning in regardless for the main event. Y'all got me with that one. Y'all didn't especially with the main and the co-main. Y'all doing the most with Pichor Yan and Sean O'Malley. For real talk, y'all could have just gave me Benil and fucking Gamrot.
Would have been enough.
Honestly, like, so I don't know. I'm curious in the comments too for all the people watching. What would you rather have? Would you rather have one really stacked card with two pretty fucking shitty cards for the rest of the month, or would you rather cherry pick a couple really good fights off this card and at least put them on the top of those other cards?
I'd love to take Yan O'Malley to headline one of those Apex cards, and then you get to Chukagian, Fioro, and disappear for all I care. But you move one of those to the Apex too. Like, I don't understand why those like, I don't understand why the Caitlin Chukagian fight is on here, and I don't understand why.
Or bro, even that,
like Bilal Muhammad, dude,
Sean
that
Brady,
would headline,
come on, bro. Yeah, come on, bro. Give me that on that Grasso card. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are doing bro, on some real shit. I'd even take Vulcan.
Oh, 100%. Vulcan could headline.
Who's
against Krylov? Against Krylov?
Yeah,
that's the Apex card.
Bro. Yeah, like, yeah. So look, I for one, I don't know about you or everybody else watching, I would be totally down to cherry pick a couple of these 100%. Fucking fights and put them on those other cards. Because I mean, I'm probably gonna watch the cards because I'm a fucking degenerate. But real talk, bro, if you're not the lowest level degenerate, you're not watching those fucking cards. I mean, we're not even talking about casuals here. We're talking about fucking, them cards are fucking weak, Jack.
Let me fourth wall this shit a little bit for you, okay? So the UFC, when you go cover a card, right? Like I've done plenty, and my team over at KSF has done plenty. When you go to an Apex card and you go to the media room, okay, for media day, you know how popular that card's going to be by who shows up, okay? And the last Apex card I covered was Font Aldo, and when you looked around, there was fucking like 4 of us there, 4 outlets out of the who knows how many are out here now, okay? Then you do weigh-ins and all that, the fight night, and then you do a post-fight. You had maybe 4 more outlets after that, so we're talking like 8 total outlets. The UFC knows, like, the UFC didn't get that many views on their shit when they send you shit to post, because they will.
Oh yeah,
they send you like, hey, here's the video from this. So go ahead and post it. Here's some photos. Like, oh, okay, so nobody went. Like, no, media didn't feel like going to that shit. Like, okay, I get it. Which that just tells you everything you need to know about the cards, in my opinion, as far as that goes. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Cherry pick a couple of these motherfuckers and put them over. We're still watching this thing anyway. You got me with the co-main and main already. Like, I'm watching no matter what with those.
Right. And I almost feel awkward or sort of hypocritical saying that, because I'm also, on one hand, I love having a really stacked card to look forward to. But yeah, I guess if these other cards just weren't so weak, like if they just had a little something on them, I'd be all right. Again, even the Gamrot fucking fight would suffice. I'm not loving Mackenzie Dern being at the top of the card and then Alexa Grasso being at the top of the card. So sorry to their opponents, not trying to fucking shit on them, but just by not mentioning them. But like, I don't think there's enough fucking star power with either one of them to really care. And look, fuck what I think. They gonna have them cards.
Yeah,
we gonna get them cards, and them fight nights are gonna happen, Jack, whether we like it or not. But I, for one, would think it seems like it'd be smart to just move it around a little bit. To your point, what you got shown on the screen right now, we're done. We're all
That's
there.
Enough.
Real talk, probably just Charles and Islam, at least for the hardcores.
Bro,
you can't miss that one, bro. And you throw in Aljo and TJ, like it's a hardcore. We got to be there.
If that shit wasn't on Fight Island, I'd be trying to go to cover it.
Right. I mean, that's
You know
a
what I mean?
fucking solid card. Jesus
100%.
Christ. You add in all the other fights, and yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. I don't want to be a crybaby. It's the end of the year. That's a hell of a card, but boy, them 2 cards before this could really use a little injection.
No, you're right. All right, let's see here. Okay, I lost my fucking place here. Oh, we got some comments here. SJ says, I'd rather keep 280 stacked.
Okay.
And fair enough. That's
Fair
a good
enough.
point,
Yeah,
too.
no doubt.
Balance it all out. However, pay-per-views have to be loaded.
Fair.
And it's hard because we haven't had a loaded pay-per-view in a minute. So, and again, 20 pay-per-views away from 300. Like Dana's already said, they're working on something big for 300 already. Like that's already in the works. So, or no, not 300. The 30th anniversary is coming up next year, I think.
Oh, right.
30th, so the 30th anniversary, that's not 280, but they were coming up with something big. So all I could think of is that Yas Island, whoever rents it out or loans it out, whatever it is, whatever their deals with UFC, probably was like, look, man, you guys coming back here, I need something big. I need you to stack this shit, and they just did. So that's how we are. What else we got? Stack for me, Santiago says, you never know, a weak card sometimes delivers good fights, and honestly, they normally do.
Decent
Normally,
point.
the cards
Decent
we go,
point.
the cards we were like, this is gonna suck. Like 9, maybe like 8 times out of 10, like you'll get a decent card. 6 times out of 10, you'll get like a crazy fucking card, right? We'll be like, oh shit, we were wrong and shit. So, look, I love that. I love being wrong about these cards. But man, these next couple UFC cards.
I also feel like there's something to be said. We've talked about this before too.
Yeah.
The anticipation for a fight, for me, is almost half the battle. Like, if a fight ends up being great in hindsight, that's cool and all, but like leading up to this Oliveira Islam fight, all that, like that's what makes it so good. Like in hindsight, Mackenzie Dern, and how do you pronounce the broad's last name? Jan?
I don't know how to say her last name.
Anyways, the Asian lady that she's fighting, that fight might end up, it might end up being a war, but there's still like zero anticipation for it. I mean, again, for us degenerates, we'll watch 2 bums fight in an alley, and we can get something out of it. But the anticipation leading up to these big fights is like, bro, when Charles and Islam are walking out to the cage, I'm gonna be on fucking, God willing, it actually happens. I'm gonna be on pins and needles when that motherfucker says fight. I am going to be excited as a motherfucker, as long as the fight doesn't end up being boring as fuck. Looking at you, Canelo, you cute cocksucker. As long as the fight doesn't fucking suck, I'm going to be super entertained just based upon my anticipation for that motherfucker. So, listen, I get it. Sometimes those weak cards end up delivering, but there was still no anticipation afterwards. It's like, yeah, it was good, but it was missing something. You know what I mean? It was missing that big fucking name quality for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, dude. And honestly, like, there's plenty of fights or fighters looking for fights that you could have added a couple big fights to these Apex cards. They just didn't, for whatever reason. It's just kind of how they're doing things. But like I said, I like the 280 stack card and everything. It's dope, and I'm gonna watch it. But we would have watched it with one of these fights. So
quickly, we're completely fucking all over the board here a little bit tonight. Again, we don't got a lot going on, but I'm just thinking out loud right now. What are our collective thoughts on John Jones? Okay. Do we think, let's start here. Do we think he fights this year? And this is a question again for everybody that's watching. Do we think that it's realistic that he fights this year? Obviously, he will be at heavyweight. So the question becomes just simply then, who does he fight? And again, I think do we get the deal done with fucking Francis, who was in the news recently and saying he hasn't even had an offer from the UFC, which again, that's what makes this so fun to talk about, because I don't even know what the fuck that even means. What do you mean they have an offer? Like, are you keeping something out? Why the fuck would they not offer you? Surely they don't want you to walk. You're the fucking UFC. You're their heavyweight champion, for fuck's sake. So I don't know what that means. But what do we think? Do we think John fights? And if he does fight, does he fight Francis for the belt, or does he fight Stipe, which is, I think, the major fucking rumbling and rumor, which I'll just go ahead and jump on the fucking grenade first. I think the cute cocksucker does fight this year. I think he needs to fight this year. I think he wants to fight this year. And I think he fights Stipe. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Francis, but I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I feel like there's been a lot of fucking weird energy with them. I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but Deontay Wilder was also at the Contender Series fight this weekend. I don't know whether that means any fucking thing. I don't know whether they're trying to pacify Francis with a Deontay fight. as opposed to the Tyson Fury fight, or how that would even keep him with the UFC in any. I
Yeah.
don't know. So, what do you think? What's our opinion on John Jones and I
Oh.
guess the state of the heavyweight division?
First of all, heavyweight's gotten better, not by a lot, but it's gotten better recently. Okay. That being said, it's got to be Stipe. And I think if he doesn't fight this year, I think we're just gonna stop giving a shit about John Jones. Like, there's only so much that what did Rogan say the other day? He said something like John Jones has done a lot of stupid shit, but he's still the greatest. Like, that's only gonna get you so far. Like, I personally don't give a shit anymore. Like, I've stopped caring about John Jones fighting ever again. If he fights, great, I'll watch it. If he doesn't fight, no, I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you. I'm sick. I'm sick of getting teased. I don't, because we keep getting fucking teased over and over. Oh, John Jones is coming to fucking fight. Oh, he's coming to heavyweight. Say 6 years later, whatever it's been, was like 2 years, 3 years, whatever. And then he's like, "Wait, I'm coming, guys. I'm gonna come fight. All right, cool. What the fuck? When are you gonna fight? What? It's Stipe's fault. Oh, is it fucking John Jones? There's not a whole roster of heavyweights you can come and fight. Fuck out of here. So I don't give a shit.
He's got to fight Stipe or somebody. You can't have
it has to be Stipe. If he fights anyone at heavyweight that hasn't gotten a belt at this point, with as long as he's made us fucking wait, if he fights anybody that hasn't held a UFC gold strap around their fucking waist, I could give a fuck. I could give a fuck.
I agree. It does. Well, and for me, it not even held the belt. It has to be Francis or Stipe.
Yeah,
I mean, it's John fucking Jones we're talking about. He can't really, like, even Cyril Gane, I don't think we would really be okay with. I mean, Cyril just doesn't have a big enough name. He's not there yet. I mean, John Jones is fucking a mythical creature, man. He still hasn't been beaten. I get your point though. It has become frustrating, but I don't know. I'm sorry. It's fucking Johnny Bone Jones.
I know.
Gets in the cage. I am going, especially if it's at heavyweight. If we get this deal done, and maybe I'm just being really optimistic too, because I guess I have no reason to believe he's going to fight this year. But yeah, I'm just dying to see him compete at heavyweight
because he needs to fight this year. I don't see why. I don't know. I don't see what the fuck the holdup is. I'm sure they're working on something behind the scenes and all that shit, trying to get it down. But it's got to be Stipe because Ngannou's still recovering from knee surgery.
Well, and I'll tell you this, John, again, if you take all the steroid accusations or whatever fucking convictions off the table, he is fucking pretty unarguably the GOAT.
Right.
But he has squandered a lot of his career already, and he could be potentially wasting the last little bit of it. I am, all joking aside, very curious to see just how great John can actually be. But that fucking clock is winding down. To your point, he's got to get in that cage soon. He's probably only got 3 to 5 fights left in him, these big heavyweight fights. Again, but think about that. If John Jones comes back and goes 3 or 4-0 at heavyweight and beats Stipe, Francis, Cyril, and somebody else, a rematch with Frank, whatever the fuck, Curtis Blades or the like, I mean, son, he'll be putting on a Floyd Mayweather-esque jump ahead of the crowd. I mean, the conversation won't even be there for a Habib or an Anderson. I mean, if John actually comes back and gets that belt and defends it a couple times, he will cement his legacy as the living GOAT of this sport. So, quite frankly, I don't know if he can do it. That's a real tall order. I don't know if he can win one fight at heavyweight, let alone 3 or 4. But
I can't remember exactly who. I want to say it was Stipe that's defended the heavyweight belt more times than anybody else ever at heavyweight. I think most guys will defend once, maybe twice, and then lose it, and then either get it back or whatever. But like I said, like, if John Jones comes in and he beats whoever, then gets a title shot or gets a title shot straight out, wins the belt. Honestly, all he has to do is defend it one time for me to be like, oh, that's it. That's the guy. And that's the guy because the heavyweight, it's hard to, and if he goes insane and defends it like 3 or 4 times, shit. Good luck. Hey, Fedor who?
You ain't lying. And listen, here's the compelling thing, man. The John Jones that beat DC twice, the John Jones that beat the fucking dog shit out of Shogun and fucking choked Lyoto unconscious, that dude, I think, could do it.
Oh, sure.
I think that dude could actually do it. the guy that fucking barely beat fucking Dominic Reyes and barely beat fucking Thiago Santos. That guy, I think, is going to get fucking laid out at heavyweight. So I just that's what makes this so compelling. I think if the slightly nervous John shows up, that guy that thinks he can lose and just competes like he's fucking in a different fucking, in the fucking matrix, I don't think you can beat that dude. Heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, I don't give a fuck. That guy, I don't think you're beating. But he's getting old, and the dude that fought Dominic Reyes, that dude get's knocked out by Stipe. I think that dude gets knocked out by Francis. Yeah. So it's just really compelling. Because again, if the dude that fought fucking Gustafson that second time shows up, they're fucked.
Oh, they're super fucked.
Like if that guy shows up, that John Jones, the DC John Jones, they're fucked. Like he's too much.
And that's the guy that John Jones is selling to us on his Instagram, on everything. That's the guy he's selling to us. So Johnny, if you deliver, I'm with you. If you don't deliver, wolf tickets. Cut the shit.
It's now or never too for his career.
Oh, sure.
Like for him to get as big as he can possibly get. And what's funny is like you hear Francis talking about wanting the Tyson Fury fight or the possibly a Deontay Wilder fight. Right. I think what all of us might be missing, man, is John. If John can actually get in the cage and get a win over Francis, I think John boxing Deontay or Tyson. And listen, I think John would, I don't even know if he'd be stupid enough to do that, but I think he's the guy outside of Conor McGregor. Now that Nate, here we go. We're fucking freestyling tonight. So let's just have some fucking fun, okay? Outside of Conor, now that Nate Diaz is no longer in the UFC, is John Jones the biggest draw? Who's the biggest draw in the UFC? You take Nate and Conor off the table. Khabib's not there no more. I think he outdraws Israel. Quite frankly, and let's say John at heavyweight, because let's say John comes back and fights Stipe. Is that the biggest fight in the fucking sport? I think so. I think so. And I'm talking about pay-per-views, Jack. I'm not talking about hardcores. I'm talking about what sells the most. Does John Jones versus Stipe sell more than Islam Oliveira? I think it does. Sell pay-per-view wise, I think it does. I think I guess my fucking long-winded, drawn-out point here is I think John Jones is still a pretty big star, to be completely fucking fair, and he hasn't even really scratched his goddamn potential because he won't fucking stay out of his way for long enough.
Right. I wonder. The only name that I could think of, not maybe competing with him, would be Charles Oliveira, because
or Jorge Masvidal maybe, but I think
Masvidal,
I think the fucking stinks off of Jorge a little bit, though, to be completely fair. I don't know if Jorge's
losing so damn much.
Pay-per-views. Yeah, I don't think Jorge's selling 1 million pay-per-views on his own no more. Like if he fights Gilbert and Jorge headlining a pay-per-view, that ain't doing 1 million. You're out of your fucking mind. There ain't no way.
Yeah, because look, I get it, and I'm gonna get. I'll probably, if anyone from Australia is watching this, I'm gonna get so much shit for this. But no one gives a fuck about Volkanovski, really, not on that level. Like, Volkanovski's big in the down under, right? Cool, great. I like watching Volkanovski because he's a bad motherfucker, right? But if when we're talking about biggest draws in the UFC or in the sport itself, he's not on that list. You couldn't sell me that for shit. Israel, and this is gonna be weird. Israel's barely on that list for me because I watched the Romero fight. That was enough for me to be like, oh fuck, okay, so we could get this guy. Listen, like, this is the guy we could get.
What's the old saying in MMA? You're only as good as your last fight, right? Who is he fought last? Cannonier?
Yeah, I think so.
Fight was dog shit. I know so. Fight was dog shit. It wasn't no good. Now I think
he said it himself too. He said it himself too. He was like, it wasn't the greatest fight. He didn't do this or this or that, whatever the fuck. I didn't expect this or whatever. But Cannonier, before that, Robert Whittaker too, which it went 5 rounds, and even then I was like, okay. The Marvin Vettori fight where he humped him at the end, that Costa fight. The Costa fight,
that was his last good performance.
Yeah. But before that was a Romero fight where they just stared at each other.
Yep.
Like he stared Romero out of the UFC. Basically.
The truth is, and don't get me wrong, I think that Izzy is still one of the biggest stars in the sport. But the truth is, he's had more shitty performances as a champion than he has had memorable ones.
Sure.
I mean, he's got a couple very, winning the belt from Robert Whittaker the first time was super impressive. But like, most of these fights defending the belt have been kind of boring, to be completely fair.
Yeah. No. So the funny thing about it is that this fight with Alex Pereira, just sticking on Israel for a second, this could be his fight to get into that list of draws, of big draws. If he's able to knock out, I mean, you can't just beat Alex Pereira. Not after all the shit talk. After that, I beat your ass out. All this other stuff. I'm gonna do it again. Not after all that shit. You gotta come in and put it on Alex. You gotta be like, you gotta beat him like he spanked your mom's ass and took your dinner away and then bailed on it. Okay, you got to do something crazy. If all he does is beat Alex Pereira by decision, off the list.
And listen, if we're talking about competing with fucking John Jones and being the biggest pay-per-view seller in the sport, listen, not only does he have to finish him impressively, but again, that lead up that I was talking about before is important. He got to talk his shit. And I don't mean become fucking Kobe Covington. I just mean he's got to get back in his I'm the greatest and I'm about to show y'all why bag. When he comes out, he needs to come out in a fucking transformer. He needs to come out in a little red Corvette with fucking whores twerking, money falling from the ceiling. I mean, he needs to sell it, and then he needs to knock him out. And 100%. Then he needs to get on that mic and say, John Jones fucking who? I'm coming back up to 205. I'm knocking that cute little prick out with that stupid hair. Blase. You know what I mean? Like, you got to sell the fight, man. There's a reason that Conor became Conor. And yes, he had some very impressive knockouts at the right times. But beyond that, nothing's more fun than the lead up to a Conor McGregor fight. The lead up is it's like the foreplay. Sex is good, but you got to suck them titties, man. Like, foreplay is fucking important. That lead up, the press conferences, if Israel sells that right and really gets us in there and gets the eyeballs on the fight, and then he performs and knocks him out, and he gets that 5 minutes afterwards on the mic and he sells that, we're fucking cooking with bacon grease.
100%. So let me get some comments here before we keep going on this. Esther says, yeah, I agree with Fred in regards to John Jones. That was a little earlier. I no longer care about John Jones as Otis. Although John Jones and Gunn is the only fight I want to see. I'm with that too. And then I do think Volkanovski would do better pay-per-view numbers if he moved up in weight, especially if he moved to 55, says SJ. There's a lot of good fights. Excuse me. There's a lot of good fights for Volkanovski at 55. So I kind of agree with that.
True.
But again, it's got to be a whole pot. Again, okay, the UFC does not give two shits when it comes to pay-per-view buys about me and Fred. They don't give a fuck about us because they know they got us. We're in the bag already. What they want is the casuals. And what gets casuals? Rehearse Conor lines. Nate Diaz saying "fuck you," now what, or whatever. Hell, even who's Sean? When am I thinking? Sean, what's the last name I'm thinking of?
Listen,
the fucking weirdo. Like
Sean O'Malley?
No, Sean Strickland. Even Strickland on the microphone talking shit to Alex Adesanya in front of him, saying like, "Hey, did Alex knock you out twice? Yeah, he's a better striker," or whatever the fuck. Like, even that guy sells great. If his skills would match it, we have a giant fucking star.
Listen, you know what? And I'm being straight about this. You know what I think would be a really good investment for people like Volkanovski, or people who are, they're fucking amazing fighters. They're doing all they can in the cage. And I mean this. I think those fuckers should hire a really, really high grade social media person to control their shit and to build a social media presence. I cannot explain to you how important that look at Jake Paul. Like, yeah, he's had a couple cute knockouts. The motherfucker is selling out Madison Square Gardens based upon a fucking social media presence. I mean, I know he had a YouTube channel and so on, but like Volkanovski is doing all he can in the cage, and you can only ask somebody to do so much. But that's why social media is its own game. There are people that's their whole career now, is to take the social media channel for a Taco Bell or whatever the fuck. Like, it's somebody that gets paid to run Taco Bell's Twitter, and they're doing a good goddamn job. Like, that shit fucking works, man. Like, Volkanovski just needs a beast on his social media team out there, him fucking fighting alligators, and I think he's trying. He's got the little cooking show and shit. Like, that's the thing you got to do, man. But you just got to keep finagling around with it. Get on Jackass or something, man. Wrestle an alligator. I don't fucking know. Like, do some shit that really fucking brings him in.
Like, Conor posts his own social media shit, but I know he has a guy. Nate has a guy. In fact, he has multiple guys, cameras, everything rolling all the time.
Right. You got to, man.
You have to. right? If you know how to play the game completely, like the complete game, you do shit like that. Even some of the lower level guys like have like a friend or something. They're not getting paid that much or whatever, but even they have a friend that posts shit. So it's that kind of thing. So you're 100% right on that. I think Volkanovski, if he's able to get people to give a shit about him through that would be fucking great for his career. Adesanya beats Pereira. What's next for him? I'd say Hamza versus Adesanya. I'm gonna say yes, but not because of the fight itself. I watched Izzy. Speaking of YouTube and social media, he has a social media guy too. He's just his just performances aren't matching it. But he has a reactions show on YouTube, and he was watching 279, and he saw Hamza and the way he just mauled the shit out of Kevin Holland, which we'll talk about here in a second. But mauls Kevin Holland. Okay. The look on I recommend everyone go watch this after the show. Okay, go look it up. The look Adesanya had on his face when he saw that was the look of a man who saw, holy shit, I'm definitely seeing that guy soon. Not next, not later down the line. Very fucking. He's probably next. That was the look that I saw in his eyes, and that's fucking why it needs to be the next fight, because it wasn't fear. It was like, I gotta take this shit seriously because this guy's fucking for real.
Okay, so Hamza is the one guy that I would honestly almost put in that fucking John Jones discussion as far as pay-per-view sale. He's not there yet, but he's one of the few people that has the potential to actually go there. Right. Now, all that being said, before we talk, and I do think, yes, I think Hamza anywhere from 70 to fucking 70 and 85. Yeah, I think Hamza's the fight. For Usman or whoever. I think he's the fight that you want. All that being said, I think as far as 85 goes, we all got to get some ice in our panties real quick. I mean, he's got one fight in the UFC at 85 against Gerald Meerschaert. Now, I know it was very impressive. It was a
one-hitter quitter. I get it.
And Gerald Meerschaert has looked good since then. All that being said, it's Gerald Meerschaert. As much as I love to undersell Robert Whittaker, I would like to see him fight him at 85. And then, if anything, just to build even more buzz for Chimaev too. Give him, him and Paulo Costa have been chirping back and forth. Give him Paulo Costa or give him Robert Whittaker. Give him a real test to 85. And if he fucking comes in there and does that to them, I think Robert Whittaker, I love that fight. I don't know if Robert Whittaker would take it because he's probably taking it at this point. Fuck off. Yeah. Like I'm due for my next title shot. But for me, I don't want to see him fight Adesanya again unless it's last resort. And Chimaev is sort of that dude. Beat that guy. If you can stop Chimaev right now, or at least just dominate him in any way, shape, or form, even me, who really does not want to see the fucking fight with you and fucking Adesanya again, I'll be all right if you actually beat that fucking prick. And then if Chimaev, on the flip side, if you beat Robert Whittaker, let's do it. Let's do it. You get your title shot. because as much as I might want to undercut Robert Whittaker, who did he just fucking beat? The prick just beat a super top contender at 85, right?
Yeah.
Who did he just fight? Was it Vettori?
It was Vettori.
Was that?
Yeah. Vettori was ranked number 1, I think, and number 2.
Whittaker's fucking good, man. He's really good. I for some reason, not that he rubs me wrong, he seems like a great guy, but at the division at 85 after being at 70, there's always just been something. I've always felt that he just wasn't right for the division. I've always wanted to shit on him at 85 for some reason, but the cute cocksucker has always, other than the Adesanya fights, proven me wrong and won his fucking fights at 85. So, other than Adesanya, don't nobody really be having anything for Robert Whittaker at 85. So let Chimaev beat that dude. Let him finish Robert Whittaker. What the fuck? Which is no fucking easy task.
I was gonna say that is not gonna be easy. Robert Whittaker is difficult for anybody, but even for Hamzat's style is difficult. Like if Hamzat tries to blitz him the way he plays Holland, it's gonna be a long fucking night for all Hamzat.
Right.
That shit is not gonna go well for you if you try to blitz that man.
Exactly. Like that's an incredible fight, and again, it builds up Hamzat big time. You can definitely just give him a title fight.
Hamzat fucked himself real hard not making weight this time against Nate. Yeah. This was the fight that was going to look. Let's be honest. Off the performance we saw from Holland, and I know Nate was training that guillotine like a motherfucker for that reason because he knew that was what was going to happen. I don't know if he gets that, and I think Hamzat might have mauled. Right? Probably wins that fight. More than likely wins that fight.
Sure.
And he builds. At that point, you have a bona fide star because you beat Nate Diaz. At that point,
That was
And
the
then-
whole fucking plan.
That was the plan. He misses weight and he fucks everything up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
Worked,
it is what it
worked
is.
for Nate. But
Nate
again,
loved it.
again, I still think, even for that though, I still think that Hamzat still was the fight for Nate because he beat Tony, and who amongst us really cares? I mean, we're happy that he got a win, but we're all like, that makes sense.
The nostalgia in us loved it,
bro,
because we know what those guys have done in their careers. But that's kind of it.
Sure. Imagine he had actually submitted Chimaev. We'd still be singing his praises. I mean, we would never get over it. So I still think, as much as that would have been an unwinnable fight, I still think that was the risk that Nate really, because even if he lost that fight, we wouldn't have cared too much. That's all what we expected. Yeah, exactly. I think a spirited loss against Chimaev would have probably meant more than a win against Tony at this point in their careers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about the whole thing is that to me is that the UFC wanted the one plan, and then their plan literally fucked itself, and then Nate took it over, and his plan ended up working out. Now he's gonna go off and do boxing, whatever the fuck, and Dana White's gonna sit there with a big old smile on his face and be like, "Yeah, we love the kid. Yeah, like you got to do that. You can't go out and be like, man, motherfucker, we wanted him to lose and all sorts of shit." So is what it is. Otis says Hamza said he's done at 170. Well, fucking good. I don't want you missing weight.
Yeah, that's why I've been just keeping the discussion on 85, because that's when I'd heard that he was done at 70. And fair enough. If you didn't make the weight, you don't even want to try. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, if you think you can make 85 or you think you can compete well at 85, then fuck it. Why torture yourself to make 70?
I do love the fact that people were poking at him about that's what you get for hanging out with Darren Till, and then him and Till kind of ran with it and joked around about it. That's having a good sense of humor. So good for those guys. Yeah, we went way off the rails. Who gives a shit? Canelo Triple G, man, real quick. God damn, was that? Okay, I don't know whether to call it a shit fight, but the word I kept using when people kept asking me about it was the most unsatisfying, if that's even a word, unsatisfying boxing match I've seen in years. Where I expected a war. I truly thought, okay, cool. I know Triple G is 40-some years old. I know Canelo's in his prime, and he's fucking dudes up, and he's gonna win this fight more than likely. But I expected Triple G to be like, all right, this is my last fucking, this is my last dance here. I'm gonna go all in, try to fucking steal this guy's shine. Man, he fought like a 45-year-old. Like he fought like he was old as shit. And Canelo didn't fight that much better, honestly.
Listen, I sat right here on this goddamn podcast before that fucking shit and said, let me tell you something, Jack. You ain't gonna watch. I guarantee you. And bigger than shit. And look, listen, if you want to guarantee, fucking go watch WWF. The only thing we learned from this is that if you're going to watch real combat sports, a la boxing, kickboxing, MMA, fucking Brazilian jiu-jitsu, collegiate wrestling, this shit is not scripted, and sometimes it is not the funnest thing to watch, man. This, by all intents and purposes, this was a trilogy fight. The first two fights were fantastic.
Yeah.
Not one of them, both of them. And quite frankly, most of the fights in both of these gentlemen's careers have been pretty action-packed, fantastic fights. There was nothing leading up to this that would make you think that this fight was going to be anything other than fantastic, and it fucking sucked. I mean, maybe it's a little bit of high expectations because we expected the fight to be so good, and then it ends up not being great. So maybe the fight's not as bad as I thought it was. But I'm telling you right now, Jack, for me, I came away from that bitch like, fuck, that was fucking horrible. What in the fuck was that?
And this guy just posted this about an hour ago, so I know he's on some shit, and you're gonna love this because he's your guy. But this is kind of what my face was during that fight. I was kind of like, this is my face the entire fight. Like, y'all gonna do something or shit? I wish I was coked out like Connor probably is right now, okay? Because that was awful. Like, look, I was sitting there with my Mexico shirt on. I was like, let's go Canelo from my hometown, literally from like miles from where I was born, dude. Like just short distance from where I was born. And that's what you gave us? Like during the fight, I thought the way Triple G was fighting, I was like, is Canelo just showing respect by not knocking his fucking head off? Because he could. He could knock this motherfucker out. He wasn't trying to. Like, he just wasn't. Like, I've seen Canelo fight as his best. And still, like, I was like, he's showing respect. Like, I get it. But, bro, like, there's no way that this fight's doing really well right now. By the way, I read today that the pay-per-view buys did not do well for this one at all. Like it was actually like bad, right? And I mean, think about it this way: this is probably like the best walkout that Canelo ever had. Walked out with a legend son. Alejandro Fernandez is a legend. Vicente Fernandez is a legendary. Rest in peace. He just died not too long ago. Legendary singer in Mexican history. And I mean, he's like a god in Mexico. That's his son. He walked him out, singing one of his father's songs to the cage. The cage would have been great. The ring goes out there. The introduction is dope as shit. I have it saved on my phone. That's how great it was. And then that's what we got. And I was sitting there, and then I read today, it's like they'd be a pay-per-view guys didn't do that well. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, no shit. I mean, yeah, it probably got streamed like a motherfucker, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really hold the pay-per-view buys or I think that shit's inevitable.
They gotta change the views. You gotta get rid of buys and say, like, how many people watch this fight? That's gotta be the number, not how many buys.
Yeah, because I just think that shit's falling for everybody. Short of you being Floyd or Connor. Everybody's pay-per-views are falling, and even those cats, because it's just everybody's just getting so used to streaming and shit, man. It just is what it is. Like pay-per-view is just a dying fucking mold. But that fight, there wasn't no excuse for that. That fight just fucking sucked, man. Triple G acted like he was a fucking sleep most of the fight until like the last fucking 3 rounds. And to your point, Canelo sort of seemed like after the 3rd or 4th round, he was just on cruise control, sort of just not quite taking it to him. It's like, listen, if Triple G's not gonna take a chance, then Canelo just step in and start putting the fucking heat to him. Like one of you guys has to take the fucking lead here. And I will say the last 2 or 3 rounds, it seemed like Triple G sort of kind of started to start swinging and getting in the pocket a little bit, but too little too fucking late at that point, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, we got some comments here real quick. And Otis, I'll go with your fight announcement here in a second. What's up, Boo? He says boxing is man. I enjoy boxing when it's 2 guys that want to fight.
Yeah, certain fights. Listen, I stand by my comments. Certain fucking boxing matches are fantastic, but just like in MMA, you never know, man. Fucking again, was it fucking Francis and Derek Lewis? You just never know.
Oh, Jesus, some of these depressing ass fights. Actually, says streams are killing the pay-per-view game. Right. At some point, I think they'll sign one more ESPN deal when this next one dies off or ends or whatever. I think they sign one more, and then after that, they're going to be forced to look at a subscription service. Like, because they already raised the price on ESPN Plus. Like, I'm already like, hey, what the fuck? I'm about to stream everything now, not just allegedly pay-per-views. I'm going to start allegedly streaming fucking everything because y'all, that's bullshit, right? You're not delivering enough for me to pay that, but whatever. But it's got to change at some point. Bowie says boxing is boring as fuck to me since I've been watching MMA. Fair point.
General consensus, yes.
Fair point.
Yes. Hey, overall, yes.
You know what ruined boxing for me? And it wasn't the fact that the best boxers don't want to fight each other anymore. The thing that ruined boxing for me was Anderson Silva's front kick on Vitor Belfort. You don't get that in boxing. When I saw that, I was like, fuck boxing. Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah. That boxing's got nothing on this shit. And then he says, I'll watch Tyson Fury because he's a showman. He's a showman.
Right.
That's great.
Well, even Deontay Wilder, to be fair, there are some boxers out there that do deliver. And fuck, usually Canelo.
Canelo's one of them.
Like usually, yeah. I mean,
this fight was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this was just one of those ones. It should have been fucking good. It wasn't, but like, what are you gonna do? It should have been fucking good.
Should have been. All right. On just real quick on the boxing note, Tyson Fury put a video on Instagram or on social media either today or yesterday going in on AJ, Joshua, and Usyk. Apparently, he sent Joshua a contract. He'd been talking shit about, hey, I'll fight you, AJ, or Anthony Joshua, and Fury and Joshua was like, okay, yeah, so whatever, let's do this shit. In December and whatever he said. Well, Tyson Fury, shut the fuck up, boy. Tyson Fury, my kid's over here. Tyson. Playing. We have his. My niece is over, so they're like similar age, so they're running around like psychos. So yeah, that's not an angry yell. That's like, hey, what the fuck?
A happy yell, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Tyson Fury says he sent the contract over and nothing, and then Usyk talked all this shit, and now he doesn't want to fight for a while. It's just like. And he just went in on him. It was hilarious. But that's what makes Tyson Fury. That's a showman.
Well, and listen, I don't know a lot about boxing, so I don't want to speak too much about this, but I do know that Usyk has beat AJ twice. Yeah. So I know that AJ and Fury would have been a big fight and still would potentially be a big fight. But bro, you gotta fight Usyk. Like, you can't you sending fucking Fury a fight. Like, what in the fuck are we doing here? Like, if again, finally, all the belts for the heavyweight gold are all with these two people. Usyk has every belt that Tyson Fury does not, and vice versa. You two cocksuckers have got to fucking fight. I love Tyson, but fuck off with the AJ shit. Fuck off with the AJ shit. Like, you got to fight this little Usyk prick. They gave him 2 chances, AJ, to beat this fucking Usyk prick. He couldn't do it. Again, it's the fight game. It's not always the sexiest thing. Tyson Fury has got to fight the guy with all the fucking belts now. Like, fuck off with the fight. Again, if you want to fight AJ for England or whatever and try to milk that pay-per-view cow, that's fine. But beat Usyk first, get all the belts, and then give AJ a shot because you fucking want to. I don't give a fuck. But you got to fight Usyk. You can't fight AJ first, for fuck's sakes. Now, all that being said, if I've heard Tyson can't really get out of England, if he can't get out of England and Usyk don't want to fight, and he's thinking, fuck it, I'll just box AJ because we're both in England and it's something that I could do in the meantime. Okay, I guess I'm all right with that. As long as we all understand that fucking Tyson Fury has to box this goddamn Usyk prick, I'm okay with it. But he has to box Usyk. Usyk has all the other belts. It'll be the first time since, goddamn it, I think Klitschko or fucking George Foreman, the goddamn like, that one fucking human being holds all of the goddamn boxing heavyweight belts. We've got to fucking do this.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on 100%, honestly. Real quick, some more comments, and we're going to do the fight announcements here that Otis sent over. Bowie says, I've been watching MMA since 2010. There you go. The smallest ESPN card with no names are more exciting than boxing, in my opinion. So he's going with Dern and Young. There you go. And, fucking Mr. Beckham. Been a while. Hell, Cowboys going to Super Bowl Eddie, LOL. Maybe if your owner wasn't trying to start drama and shit, that man's not trying to win the title. That man's trying to get eyeballs on himself. It's old crusty ass. So when your owner actually gives a shit about winning, we talk. All right. This guy. All right. So let's we're all over the place. Yeah, really, really, very, very quickly. Bellator 285. I thought it was gonna be a lot better. Only one highlight out of this entire card that was like dope. Yoel Romero put it on Melvin Manhoef in the 3rd round, elbowed him into the fucking ring. So that was fucking crazy. Outside of that, Bendo did Bendo stuff, and entertaining overall card, but nothing super special. And again, I had to Google where to watch this shit and when it was. Like, I legit almost forgot that it was happening.
Watching Melvin Manhoef fight is like watching fucking goddamn it, Seether or Shinedown fucking live. Like, why is Melvin Manhoef still performing? Like,
by the way, to his credit, he retired today after losing. So there you go. Yeah, catch your breath, bro. It's all right.
Those fucking fights shouldn't count.
Nah,
if it's your if you lose on your retirement fight, like we've talked about this before, Yoel Romero didn't beat Melvin Manhoef. He beat a goddamn shell of what Melvin Manhoef used to be. He didn't beat the dude that beat Mark Hunt. What the fuck? Like, for fuck's sakes. I mean, but Jesus.
Yeah. I read that Melvin Manhoef started fighting 2 years after the UFC started. So he's been doing it for a long time.
Bro, I was watching Melvin Manhoef in Pride, if I'm not mistaken, at the very least, like Dream and Sengoku and all that bullshit. K1. Yep. I mean, Melvin Manhoef has been around forever, dude. Forever. What the fuck? Like,
yeah, no, you're 100% on. All right. Otis fight announcements. Neil Magny versus Daniel Rodriguez, October 15th. So D-Rod is not happy about him. People saying that the Leech won that fight. By the way, he did, but he was not happy about that. He had been like, yeah, I want to rematch that. Literally 2 days later, Neil Magny, Daniel Rodriguez. I'm like, God, all right, I guess not, bro. I guess not. But
fair enough. Bump up, to be fair, slight, but it's a bump up.
Like, if anyone got screwed out of that entire shuffle of fights, was Leech and Daniel Rodriguez. So it is what it is.
And listen, let me tell you something. A impressive win over Neil Magny will take you a long ways at this point in the game. Come out and knock Neil out, and won't nobody be saying shit about the Leech no more. Like, They gave you a name. Honestly, even like coming back and beating the Leech and doing it like well would be one thing. Come out and fucking finish Neil Magny. Again, nobody will give a shit about that Leech fight. That'll be ancient history.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, we're almost out of time. Jalton Almeida versus Shamil Abdurakhimov, UFC 280.
Oh, shit. Nice.
If I remember, Jalton actually asked for this fight, like in his post-fight last time around. So fair enough.
Some stones.
And then Jared Kennedy or Sean Strickland moved to December 17th. So we'll see if Sean can jab his way out of that one.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Who do you think? Who does Kirby think? Who did Kirby think won between D-Rod and Leech?
I lean towards the Leech. I lean towards the Leech, but I have a fucking policy with fights like this, in that I never complain. Again, we've talked about this before. If it's 50-50 in a room, even if I'm on the other side, you know, it wasn't a robbery one way or the other. If a fight's really close like that and it goes the other way, I mean, listen, I did think the Leech won the fight, but it was so close that I'm not terribly pissed off about it. Like, there's so many fights like that. Matter of fact, there's way worse decisions that have been way more egregious. Like that, it was a really close fight. I lean towards the Leech, but like I can get how you would give Rodriguez the fight. It was a fucking close fight, man. It was a really close fight.
Running out of time. Let's just go over the next few UFC cards because we were talking about that earlier. If I can get this shit pulled up. Sounds like a war zone out there now. All right, let me pull it up real quick, and then we're gonna call it a night here. Here we go. All right, Durignon next weekend. Grasso Araujo, October 15th. That one has Mish Surkanov and Alonzo Menifield as the co-main event. Rafael Santos versus Victor Henry, looking like fucking whom I think is a jazz musician, Kenny G.
Oh yeah.
Victor looking like Kenny fucking G over here. CJ Vergara, who's a bad motherfucker, against Tatsuda Taira. That's actually a good fight.
Okay, yeah.
And so that's all the fights that are on this card right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good luck. All right, let's see what happens here. They've been doing a lot of this last second card building, so we'll see. Then obviously UFC 280, October 22nd. Oliveira Makachev for the lightweight belt because no one has it. Aljamain Sterling defending against TJ Dillashaw, which I still don't understand why, but whatever. Piotr Yannick and Sean O'Malley should be headlining a fucking Apex card or whatever. Video Dariush against Matuz Gamrot. That could also headline a fucking UFC fight night. Ken Chikage against Manon Fiorot. Bilal Muhammad against Sean Brady. You could fucking make a Apex card of that. I mean, we're making our point from earlier.
Yeah.
Mahmoud Muradov against Kyle Borrallo. Kyle's a bad dude.
Yeah.
No Time against Nikita Krylov. That's a really good fight, in my opinion. Zubaida Tukugov against Lucas Almeida. Crazy. That's a good fucking fight. Yeah, Magomed Mustafayev. It's like they're giving all the short fight guys a bunch of fights, apparently. Against Jamie Malarkey. Abubakar Nurmagomedov against Gadzio Margam. Jesus Christ. And then Muhammad Mokaev. Ooh, this guy's fucking fire.
Yeah, dude,
Muhammad Mokaev. I love watching this kid fight. Taking on Malcolm Gordon. That's a fun fight.
Yeah, like, dude, that's a crazy card, man. I will say, like, since we're stuck with it, as much as I don't love those two shit cards before, I'm going to be super excited on the 22nd. Like that is real. That's a really, really fun card from top to bottom, literally. Yeah,
Calvin Kattar against Jared Allen, which by the way is a fight that should have already happened a while ago, but we're at least getting it now. Taking on Edson Barbosa, Lito Pereira. This is a fucking great fight. Andre Arlovsky against Marcos Rogero de Lima. Arlovsky's gonna pull this shit off again. Watch. Clezer Rodriguez against Benicio Salvador.
I can't believe Arlovsky is still.
I know,
fighting,
still
bro.
going.
What the fuck?
That guy rebuilt his chin too. Joseph Holmes against Yu Young Park, which is another really good fight. Yu Young Park is a really nice guy, by the way.
South Korea, interesting.
Yeah. No, he's really, really fucking nice guy. You can ask him any awkward ass question, he'll like make a joke with you. It's really weird. Wilder Cortez Acosta against Jared Vanderaa, who just for some reason just keeps going. And then obviously Adesanya versus Pereira, UFC 281 in New York, November 12th, I think. Only reason I can remember that date off the top of my head is I can't watch or do anything for this card because I'm in a wedding that night. So that's crazy. Izzy against Alex Pereira for the title and bragging rights. Carlos Parza against Zhang Wei Li, which to me is very interesting because we saw what happened to Carlos Parza when she fought JJ, who's a great striker. Zhang Wei Li is a great striker, and she's added wrestling over with Henry Cejudo down the street over here in Scottsdale. So that'll be interesting. And this fucking fight, dude, holy shit! I can't wait. I can't wait for Poirier Chandler. Oh my God, you could have headlined something. You could have co-mained a pay-per-view with this shit.
Oh God, you could have really
co-mained.
this could have done a headliner on a pay-per-view. It wouldn't have
for
done
sure.
great.
But,
It would have done great, but you
but
could have
if-
headlined with it in a pinch.
Hey, but you and I would have complained about that. Would have been like, that's
No,
a fuck.
no.
Fuck the belt. That's a firefight. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, I almost don't like saying shit like this anymore because every time I fucking say it, I get fucked in my ass. But I'm pretty sure that's guaranteed fireworks. Like,
Sure.
I'm pretty fucking sure that Poirier Chandler will be a fucking fun, fantastic fight. Again, you never fucking know, but I'm pretty sure, boys, you can count on that one being a crazy fun fight.
Dan Hooker against Claudio Puelles. If you're talking about two guys that don't give a fuck and are going to throw at each other, this is a great fight. Brad Riddell against Hitano Moicano. This is a great fight. Steamroller for Bola against Otman Zaitar is going to be a good fight. Aaron Blanchfield taking on Molly McCann. She continues to fucking just sell out and get people to watch her. So Molly McCann still, a must-watch TV. Kenny Kowalkiewicz against Silvana Gomez Juarez, who actually whooped ass last time I saw her. Ryan Spennick. Dude, look at this card. The fucking Carlos Ulberg is the first fight allegedly on the prelims. Obviously, this is not a finalized card yet. We're still months away.
Right.
Just what we're seeing here. This is almost as stacked as 280. Almost. If not, maybe just as stacked. Maybe even more. Who knows? But like the fights are fucking dope from top to bottom. So, but that's as far as we'll go tonight. We'll talk about more fights as we get on in the year. We're running out of time, so we're not going to get to be able to do much as far as a big fight with Cap anyway. So, last comment here: the Grasso card is better than boxing. Damn, dude, boy hates boxing.
I mean, depending on what the boxing card is, you're probably right 99% of the time. I'm not going to bullshit you.
100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate the fuck out of you guys. We're going to call here on a nice Friday night. Go enjoy. Fury FC just had a crazy uppercut knockout. Go on Twitter. I reposted it because it came across my phone for a second. It's a nasty uppercut knockout. Apparently, it's a great card. Fury FC on Fight Pass, I think it is. And then tomorrow night there's boxing, or tonight there's boxing. There's some shit to watch, but if you're not going to watch anything, go outside. Go do some fun shit, okay? KeyboardWarsMMA.com is the landing page. At Keyboard MMA, at Gen Jesus for Fred, at EL32 for myself. SpiceSports.com and Represent are the sponsors. Spice Sports is actually revamping their whole shit, so this is going to be a wild time for them. But believe me, they got some of the dopest shit I order from all the time. KeyboardWarsMMA.com for all the outlets. And last couple comments here before we go. Freaking Beckham. No, Cowboys are not going to do shit. Cardinals might not either, but Cowboys are definitely going to do anything. Santiago, hey, have a good one, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Shout out to everyone that tuned in tonight. Nick Devon God, Santiago was here. Otis, Jesse was here for probably like a minute. SJ, I know Beckham was here. Beckham's here, still here, talking shit. Boy was here. Appreciate the fuck out of you guys. For myself, Mr. Kirby, and my 2-year-old outside the door screaming. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Good night and good night, Wilshire.